The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC. Go. Guidance. Go. Fido. Go. Prop. Go. GNC. Go. Max. Go. Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Ed the Hitman Odell.
And I'm Ryan Jones. Welcome.
And you are at What's Going Down, the new show from the RNN, giving you monthly updates on both science, paranormal, supernatural, religion, new things, old things, keeping you up to date as much as we can monthly. Well,
We cover it all pretty much.
we try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Except
do
for
what
last.
we can. Yeah.
I think last show was definitely worth the mentioning and how we went about it. But we've got a lot of stuff. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Well, we had some stuff to talk about last time, and it was a fun conversation.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you on that one, brother man. We've got a lot going on. There's been a lot of stuff in the science news in the last month, and we're going to get caught up from last month too, because we got to drag some from last month into here. So we got some stuff. Ryan, what you got for us today?
We'll actually have a video to share with you.
Oh, real cool.
Interesting. It's about AI.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how we love that one.
Yeah, I figured you might like this video here.
I agree.
We're going to see what you think about it.
Right, you want to go ahead and play that, or do you want to go ahead and do Tamantha first, Dr. Tamantha?
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, let's keep a tradition, and we're going to get you up with your solar update. If you missed last night's meteor shower, you missed a good one. I'm not going to lie. I saw 3 meteors coming home from work last night, so it was definitely prime last night. You may catch some tonight, so check it out if you're into those meteor showers and falling stars. But let's bring Tamantha in and let's kick it off. If we shall, where is that going? That was really weird. Let's do this. Clang.
We have an Earth-directed solar storm, and along with some fast solar wind, it could give us the best chance of aurora we've seen in a while. And big flares are back with the beginning of another Rossby surge. Those stories and more are in the news this week. If you want to learn how weather from our star causes impacts at the Earth that shape the future of our world, join Professors Dr. Jenny Meehan, Michael Cook, and myself as we guide you through a space weather certificate program like no other. To enroll in the Space Weather and Environment Science program offered at Millersville University, go to millersville.edu/SWEN. It's weather for the 21st century. This forecast also sponsored in part by CW Ops. Space weather this week has picked up in a big way. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, I want you to keep your eyes on region 4165, 4168. You see it right here. These were the regions that during my last forecast I said keep an eye on these because they're growing quite quickly. Well, sure enough, on the 5th you could see it 4168, pow, right there, fires off a big M4.4 class flare. And as you saw that bit of an evacuation there, also launched an Earth-directed solar storm. We were smack dab in the Earth strike zone, so we're expecting this to hit Earth. However, before I talk about the details of this very interesting solar storm, to say the least, let me first point out we have this big coronal hole here. We've seen this one before, but this is actually a role in the dynamics of this solar storm, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a big gap.
We do have fast wind that's going to be hitting us from this coronal hole in a bit. Also has a bit of a boundary right here. I think that also plays a role in how this solar storm was actually launched. This fast solar wind might also deflect the solar storm just slightly to the west and possibly to the north as well. So let's pay closer attention to that as we take a look at the actual incident itself. You can see some really gorgeous post-eruptive arcades, which means we actually had a solar slinky kind of launching horizontally. This is a very complex event and grew quite quickly. In fact, 4168 was only about 48 hours old by the time it finally fired that big M4.4 class flare. So it was very interesting. Now, also, as we take a look at the coronal wave, watch this. Remember, we have that coronal hole. You can't see it right here because these are base difference images, but you can see that where the set of regions is. And then as that big flare fires, you can watch this coronal wave. Look at this blast. Right, so the actual active region is right here, but this last wave is almost completely to the west. You're seeing almost like a barrier right here, not really going much past it. In fact, you can see a little bit of evacuation in here, but there's just not much that propagates this way. As a matter of fact, it just continues to go off this side, but just will not go past this. Well, that's actually this barrier right here. So that actually kind of stopped this big blast from actually loosening more material off on the west side of that, which actually then gives us a very interesting perspective in coronagraphs, because when we look at the coronagraph signature, look, it's not even a halo. It looks like you can see a little bit down in here. Let me back up just a smidge. You can actually see just a little bit down in here. So it's a partial halo. Oh my goodness, if you weren't paying attention to where this actually was on the Earth-facing disk, you'd think that this thing would completely miss us. But let's take a closer look at this for a second. Is this thing completely west of Earth, as some people believe, or is there more to it than that? So as we blow this up and take a look at 193, look how dynamic this event is. Here is the first bit of evacuation in our close-up, and of course this is the M4.4 class flare. But what's this over here? It looks like maybe another set of flares right here. Watch this, look at it light up right there. And then look, so that's number 2, and now look down here, number 3. So there are actually 3 flares in one. And as these multiple flares kind of lifted off, kind of really created a complex looking structure that looked at it more deep in coronagraph. You can see this very convoluted kind of structure. I believe that between that for that corona.
Well, I want to talk about this real quick. I don't know why it keeps popping in there. That, can you imagine if we had this technology 100 and 120 years ago? Because if you remember in 1920s, they had all of the electrical lines and the telegraph lines actually explode and, burn down because of a solar storm. This isn't something that's new. This has been going on for thousands of years. But we have the technology now to understand more than what we did before, by all means, and how it affects us in today.
Yeah.
It affects your cell phones, it affects your computers, your internet, your refrigerators, your microwaves. These things affect everything. That's why we put these out here for you monthly. And this is why I've tried to start to do it as much as I can when she produces it for those paranormal investigators. How does it affect what they do in the field?
It's just more stuff.
And what about all the earthquakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more stuff to think about.
Yeah, good.
Putting it's there's a lot of stuff, variables out there that we don't think about because they're not right in front of our faces. Right.
Right, exactly. And now that we have that technology, now it is there, and now we can do better predictions. I mean, we're going to be talking today about the meteor comet that's coming close to us. We've got a special on that one too, and it's going to talk about that 2029 to 2036. So there is a good reason why we're doing what we're doing for you guys. We keep you informed. You don't get all this in the news, and we like to support our YouTube family that's out there. Get them out there, support them, and it gives you guys information for whatever field you might be in. Maybe you're sensitive to solar forms of flares. Maybe you're sensitive to EMF. Well, this is stuff you need to know, guys and gals. Guys and gals.
It affects all of us, even though we may not realize it.
Well said.
So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy the weekly sun weather reports or monthly sun weather reports that we do on here.
I agree. Now you can also check out Dr. Tamantha on Facebook. She does it there as well. But this is part of the solar geologist. So really, I'm actually thinking about taking some classes, Ryan. I think it might be good. I think it might be a good idea to dive a little further into this. I've gotten really interested in the effects on how this has. So yeah, I think I might take some classes.
It's definitely doing the show and watching these videos has me interested in it, more interested or curious than I was before. Because I guess I know that solar flares affect people or affect things in our lives, but it just wasn't on the top of my mind as far as things that I'm worried about. And it's still not. I'm not, but I'm more interested in it.
No.
It's not like I'm looking at the sun oh my God.
Yeah, we're not stirring up any fear factor. We're just keeping you informed, and we're not saying anything bad happened, but it does affect us. And as you go into history, like I spoke before, in the 20s, it actually did highly affect society's communication.
I mean, if the moon can affect people the way it does, or they say it does, then the sun, which is more powerful than the moon, should, in all purposes, be able to affect us, the planet, and the way things work.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you on that one. That's a good point of observation. Hello, little man.
Linda's has an upset stomach. I woke up this morning to diarrhea on the floor.
Yeah. Poor thing.
Well.
Yeah, we got our newest kitty, Arthur. He's got ear mites, so it's been pretty bad on our end too.
I'm sorry.
I didn't think mites affect it as much as they do in animals, but man, they affect the digestive system, the nervous system. Woo!
Wow. Wow. Yeah. This is like twice we woken up this morning, like yesterday and today. Woke up to diarrhea on the floor. She's been doing so good pooping outside. It's just like not trying to revert back to, you know, the way she was before, where she was crapping everywhere. But you know,
she's a puppy.
I'm gonna blame the solar flares on her.
That's right. The solar flares got her digestive system.
That's what it is.
I like that.
But yeah, I do enjoy this segment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully you guys too. Now don't forget, if you have questions or make comments or anything, drop it in chat. We'll answer what we can. We love to talk to you guys. If you want us to bring chat up, we'll drop it up. So just keeping you guys in the loop.
Conversation going here. You know?
Yeah, what do y'all got for us?
So this
maybe do
you want me to share my video now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what's got going on with that one.
A conversation starter, I believe. Screen share. All right. Let's see how you feel about this.
Okay.
Journalist Jim Acosta just interviewed the AI avatar of a teenager who was killed in the Parkland school shooting in 2018.
More kindness and understanding can truly make a difference. Together, we can create a world where everyone feels safe and supported.
So that is an AI rendering of Joaquin Oliver, and it was created by his parents, Manuel and Patricia. And this week, they allowed Acosta to be the first reporter to interview him in honor of what would have been his 25th birthday. And right off the bat, you had Acosta asking it about gun violence.
I was wondering if you could tell me what happened to you.
I appreciate your curiosity. I was taken from this world too soon due to gun violence while at school. It's important to talk about these issues so we can create a safer future for everyone. What would you like to know more about?
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement.
Acosta then starts asking AI Joaquin about his life and hobbies and interests.
Do you have a favorite movie or show?
Oh, I'm a big Star Wars fan for sure.
Star Wars is such an epic saga. The adventures, the characters, and that iconic music are unforgettable.
And then after speaking with the AI, you had Acosta speaking to Joaquin's father.
Also mentioned that I understand that this is AI. I don't want anyone to think that I am in some way trying to bring my son back. It's sadly, I can't. I can hear his voice again, which is something that Patricia loves. And on the other hand, we can just raise our voices and now Joaquin is going to start having followers. It's not Manny, it's not Patricia. He's going to start uploading videos. This is just the beginning.
But immediately you saw a lot of people saying they were rubbed the wrong way here. With, many saying they're just allowing this AI to speak for the dead when we really have no idea what this person would have said. So there was no shortage of backlash, especially against Acosta, with people saying things like, you don't have an interview, you're facilitating a grotesque puppet show using grieving parents' heartbreak for a bit. But at the same time on Acosta's Substack, you had people thanking him, saying this was a hard watch, but it was clearly an expression of love from Manny towards his beautiful son. So, with all that, I gotta pass the question off to you of what are your thoughts, opinions?
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one for this morning. Hey, Michelle, I want to acknowledge you first and thank you. She said, good morning. There's a new flea treatment for cats. It does ear mites, worms, fleas, and ticks. My cat just had them. My dog is a grain-free dog. Oh, cool. So is ours. If you give him any human food, not good for me. Absolutely. Yeah, I gotcha. And we're doing the same. We keep him off Molly's off of a grain substitute in her food. Also, she's a Labrador. But get this, as a Labrador, she's allergic to bird. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, she can't have any bird. So it's all meats for her, meats and veggies. So that's pretty cool. But thank you, Michelle. Thank you for that. I'm going to let Sarah know all about it.
Good advice there.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you. Dude, I'm kind of half and half on this. All right. These people are saying is grieving parents, but the parents aren't grieving. They are actually acknowledging and, thanking the creator of this, that the whole AI thing. However, now this is going to be to a point of blur. Okay. Now, here when I say this,
Mm-hmm.
it's a blur of what is and what is not. Kind of like what we've experienced with everything else, with the government, the religion, the society, and our psychological point of view. It's adding another point. We don't know now because look, unless you work with AI a lot and with the standard AI, the new did you hear that? The
Yeah.
I wonder where that came from. The stroke. Everybody, have you heard?
Stroke.
Sorry, y'all. But on this instance, the newer, more upgraded AI is more intelligent and has a smoother talk. So you really are having a hard time distinguishing if it is human or AI. Now, the lower end standard version of AI, you work with it a lot. You know the word pattern. You know the squaring off. It's going to be direct. It's going to be, direct question, direct answer, pop, pop, pop. I mean, can't see but so much. I mean, we do use the doctor on the Orion effect.
Yeah.
But
I think,
you know,
if you're using AI or something like that, either side of the fence as a political tool,
mhm,
because Jim Acosta, he's very liberal,
yeah.
And talking about gun violence. Even if like a Republican or conservative did it in favor of being able to have guns, whatever. And so I think it's very fair to use that because you don't know. It's still a program. It's not a person. You don't. It's not real.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could tell maybe just the way he lived. He could have said the same thing, but you don't know for sure.
Right. Right.
You are interviewing someone's approximation of what he could have said, not what he did say.
Well said on that. Well said on that. I totally agree with you there. When things like that happen, people have got to remember, it's just like you said, Ryan. It is not the individual. It is a program that's speaking on the subject, just has the individual's voice and face. You got to remember that. Keep that in point too when you see these things. I mean, we see it all over Facebook. Come on,
I mean, I would not want to talk to someone, an AI version of you when you pass away, or anyone. It would be a reminder that the real person isn't there anymore.
All right, I can see your point on that. And see, that's the problem with society. It's really not a problem. It's just the psychological point of view. There's half of people that want to see that. They want that connection going, I miss that person. I need to see that picture and hear that, like the father said. And then it's that other side, like you just said. It's hurtful. It's painful. That. I get it. I get that point. Wow. Deja vu. I swear we've had this conversation before. That's spooky. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I use GPT all the time for stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just,
you know what? I think maybe we should do a show strictly on AI. This could get really deep. I've come across a lot of stuff on many of the platforms, including YouTube, that's speaking out and talking about it. Maybe get a board. Maybe we can have a special show and get a board of several of the hosts or those who would like to get involved and talk about this one night. This might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not going away.
No, It's not.
You know, it's like when the internet first came out, and they're like, "Oh, you know, it's a little thing called the internet," and then it blew up. And this could be something that's it's going to be something that's going to take over, and you know,
I mean,
gotta
we've
be
already
prepared
got,
for it.
we already got robot people
It
coming
makes you
out.
wonder. Yeah, it makes you, that's just the first one, you know, and then it might go to the point where someone's having an interview with someone that's AI, and they don't say it's AI, and it's so good that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they said that.
Espionage. It's
There's-
used in espionage now.
Yep. Deep fakes.
Yeah. Fake news, fake information, disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's out of the oldest book in the world. So
it's one thing to see, like, you put out an article that's fake, right?
Right.
And you expect people to read it, okay? But they have to read it to understand what's going on. If you put, like, just make a video of it and it's right there and people can see it, it's a lot easier for people to watch a video and digest it than to read an article. And that makes it more available to the public to see.
I agree.
Like scary.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in chat. Let's hear from you, or drop it in the event page on Facebook. Talk to us. Drop your lines. Give us your opinion. We want to hear about that. Ryan, we want to move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I got something that's really cool. Now, Ryan and I have a good friend by the name of Holly Mullins, and she is in the Shenandoah Valley, in the Appalachian, actually. And I was doing some research on Appalachia, and Ryan, I actually came out on something that you might find pretty damn cool. And some of you all might like and enjoy it. So sit back, enjoy this. Let us know what you think. This is coming from Connecting Paranormal.
The ancient mountains of Appalachia hide many secrets within their misty hollows and dense forests. Among the most intriguing legends that have persisted throughout the region's history are stories of giants, enormous human-like beings said to have once roamed these hills. These tales span centuries, beginning with Native American oral traditions, continuing through European settlement, and persisting into modern times through connections to cryptids like Bigfoot. While mainstream science dismisses such accounts as folklore or misidentifications, the sheer volume and consistency of giant-related stories from Appalachia present a fascinating study of regional mythology and its evolution. This video explores the rich tapestry of Appalachian giant lore, from ancient myths to 19th century newspaper headlines and contemporary sightings, examining both the cultural significance of these stories and the various theories proposed to explain them. Native American tribes throughout Appalachia maintained rich oral traditions that included numerous references to giant beings. The Cherokee spoke of the Nunahai, a race of immortal spirit people who lived within the mountains, some of whom were described as being much taller than normal humans. Similarly, the Shawnee and other Algonquian-speaking peoples told stories of the stone giants, fearsome, cannibalistic beings who stood twice the height of ordinary men and terrorized villages. These indigenous narratives often characterized giants as either dangerous enemies or powerful nature spirits who served as guardians of sacred places within the mountains. Archaeological findings have occasionally fueled these narratives, with discoveries of unusually large bones, sometimes interpreted through the lens of these pre-existing legends. Though modern science typically identifies such remains as belonging to prehistoric mammals rather than humanoid giants. According to traditional accounts, the Appalachian giants exhibited distinctive behavioral patterns that set them apart from normal humans. Many legends describe them as reclusive beings who avoided contact with regular-sized people, preferring to dwell deep within caves or in remote mountain valleys, accessible only through hidden passages. Some stories portrayed them as aggressive and territorial, attacking those who ventured too close to their domains or even raiding human settlements to steal food and supplies. Others depicted more peaceful giants who occasionally interacted with humans, sharing knowledge of medicinal plants or warning of coming disasters. A common thread in many accounts was the giants' connection to the land itself. They were often described as being able to
move boulders with ease, carve out caves, and shape the mountains, explaining certain unusual geological formations found throughout the region. The 19th century saw a proliferation of newspaper accounts claiming discoveries of giant skeletons throughout Appalachia and the Ohio Valley. Headlines such as "Giant Skeleton Unearthed in West Virginia Coal Mine" or "7-foot Human Remains Found in Kentucky Cave" became relatively common features in local papers. The Wheeling Intelligencer in 1856 reported the discovery of a human skeleton of enormous size in a burial mound near Moundsville, West Virginia, claiming it measured nearly 8 feet in length. Similar stories appeared in the Pittsburgh Dispatch, the Charleston Gazette, and numerous other regional publications. These sensational accounts typically described construction workers, miners, or amateur archaeologists stumbling upon oversized human remains, often alongside unusual artifacts. Many of these reports followed a pattern common in 19th century journalism, where exaggeration and limited scientific verification were common, and few of these supposed giant remains were preserved for later scientific examination. One of the most persistent and controversial elements of Appalachian giant lore involves claims that the Smithsonian Institution systematically collected and then concealed evidence of giant remains throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. According to these narratives, which gained significant traction in local communities, Smithsonian representatives would arrive shortly after publicized discoveries of giant skeletons, confiscate the remains for further study, and subsequently deny their existence or classify them as belonging to known species. These allegations first around the 1890s and have been reinforced by the notable absence of giant remains in official museum collections, despite dozens of newspaper accounts describing their discovery and acquisition. This narrative has evolved in recent decades to become intertwined with broader conspiracy theories about institutional suppression of archaeological findings that might challenge conventional historical narratives. Modern proponents of these theories often cite Freedom of Information Act requests failed to produce documentation of giant remains, interpreting this absence as further evidence of deliberate suppression rather than indication that such specimens never existed. The persistence of these claims reflects a deeper tension between local knowledge and institutional authority, with many Appalachian communities maintaining their oral histories and newspaper archives preserve truths that mainstream science has actively worked to erase.
So I wanted to bring this out because I found it very interesting, because this has also become a big subject these days. Giants, and then the other fact is, it almost seems like history is showing a whole lot more and almost rewriting a lot of stuff that we thought was true. So, and knowing that takes place from here, North Carolina through Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, just a little bit more, because we always hear about the giants in Nevada and where was it? Nevada, Arizona, Texas, but you never heard about any of that on the East Coast. But here we are, Appalachia, and 4 or 5 states talking about these giant beasts. What do you think, Brian?
We had a guest on the show a couple of years ago from the Odd Virginia podcast.
Oh,
he
yeah,
was talking about finding giant bones and stuff, and it just goes to show that there's a lot of stuff out there that we just don't know about, and a lot of stuff that was there before, that were kind of different types of humans that were around before, that may not be here anymore. I mean, how tall were they? Like 8-9 feet, something like that.
Yeah, 8 foot to 10 foot. That's the average from what I'm understanding. And it even states that now. Let's get biblical a little bit. That's even stated in biblical, even in the book of Enoch, it states their height based to the tree level. So in the book of Enoch, it talks about how the great giants were the height of trees. So I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand that. And anybody that tries to go read the book of Enoch, please be patient. It's not an easy read. the way it's worded and understood. So, but I suggest anybody go out. You can actually listen to it on YouTube. You don't even have to read it anymore. So you can hear about the different stuff that maybe the church didn't want you to hear about. So you have that. Now, the other thing is the interesting part is here we go with a little bit more of that conspiracy, if you will. Not that we want to jump too much in conspiracy on this show, but it does talk about the Smithsonian and how now we know not just again those giant skeleton structures from the West Coast Smithsonian hiding and not existing, but now we've heard that Appalachia, these states have also had those giant skeletons, and Smithsonian's come in and swiped it up and took it off.
They're in a box in the archives with the Ark that Indiana Jones found, where the Nazi's face got melted off. They're in the box right next to the Ark.
Yeah, along near the crystal skulls.
Exactly. I'm wondering maybe if maybe they found some Bigfoot bones.
Okay, that's interesting you bring that up, because now I'm going, what is the possibility of this tall humanoid being connected to Bigfoot?
Or keep on pulling that string and see where it goes.
Yeah, it really does, because now we've had a lot of people come up with a theory that the entity known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch kind of runs around and moves around kind of like a predator.
Just because you find bones of something doesn't mean they're all dying out. You can find bones, human bones, regular bones everywhere. We're not dying out.
Yep.
You know, they
look at sharks' teeth.
They moved farther back into the woods. People say, well, we never found their burials, but we may have.
Yeah. Hey, did you not to change subject, but did you get the chance to see Shark Week? And there's a reason I'm bringing this up.
You froze up there before you say there's a reason I'm bringing this up.
Do what now?
You froze up there and you said there's a reason I'm bringing this up. So did you say something?
Yeah, you froze up too. Okay. How about you guys? Did y'all get to see Shark Week this past 6 weeks? Ryan, did you get in to see any of the Shark Week?
I saw the Expedition X show on one of the sharks. Yes,
that was good.
When I was trying to drop the ball.
Okay, was it gross?
It was just sweat.
All right, our dog pooped. It was probably Resolve carpet cleaner that we put on the floor for the dog.
Well, in this, the reason I bring it up is because you said Destination X, because a little bit was talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the week, as I was watching it, because I'm a huge Shark Week fan myself, one of the episodes, one of the specials, they had talked about how they had come across the signal of a 60-foot object. And I'm like, what? No, yeah, because we hear about was it dark blue all the time, and we hear about these other larger sharks. But the reason I'm saying that's because of shark's teeth and what you were just talking about. It's a perfect example. But okay, they're not all dead. So they said that this signal was not a whale's type. Okay, it was on the scale of a shark. Now, the other thing is, what you just said, Ryan, made a lot more sense to me that I can bring this up too. They also found that the younger, smaller sharks are at the much higher level of the sea ocean. As they get bigger, they go down and further. I don't know if it's because of the food or just, like the fish tank phenomenon. You get a fish in the tank, it gets bigger or smaller depending on its space. Maybe that's it. But if that's the case, then maybe we are onto something. We're not even talking about NASA's little space cage outside of Maryland. I mean, what was that all about? That's proven fact. So why wouldn't NASA have anything underneath water?
Yeah, I know, right?
I can explain that. Well, yeah, we think we don't know, but it makes perfect sense. The best way to test a spacecraft is through pressurized water. So I mean, that could be people just jumping to conclusions what they thought they saw when actually it's just a testing. We don't know, but we do know there are things like dark blue and other larger sharks, and I don't necessarily think it's megalodon, but it could be a derogative or something between a great white and a megalodon that we just haven't encountered yet. Look how much stuff we have not encountered in the ocean. Hell, we're still finding spiders we didn't know
I mean,
existed.
you're talking about like stuff down the ocean. Again, you go on Discovery Plus or HBO Max. Check out Expedition X, which is like Josh Gates's like show on like supernatural stuff. But they did a whole
Josh is a great
did
guy.
a whole show on the TikTok, Tic Tac craft.
Yeah,
you know. Hang on one second.
Yeah. Tell you what, he's going to go ahead and talk. We're going to go on and move on to the next one. But remember the last show? I had spoken to you guys about what they think that it might be men creating different types of craft for different subjects, different objectives. That could be it. We don't know. But yeah, Josh's insight into the TikTok was really a good one there too. That's check it out. All of these shows are based for you to have more knowledge. It's not a fear factor. It's just giving you knowledge.
Yeah.
However, yeah. So keeping on the lines of science, we got to open up that big news that came out within the last 6 weeks. This is going to come from Max Afterburn.
Most secretive project, the F-47, the world's first sixth-generation fighter. This is a full breakdown of everything I know about the F-47 program, recent discoveries, and where it's headed. And here's the big one. Is this bad boy already flying? Well, spoiler alert, yes. But how is it flying? Could it already be flying missions? Check out this image of a tailless Delta wing design at Area 51's South Hangar. Interesting, right? Stay to the end of this video because I'll break down exactly what I think this jet was doing there at Area 51. And it's probably more of a plot twist than you think. I'm Ryan, also known as Max Afterburner, also known as a fighter pilot next door, and today we're going all in on the F-47. This thing's so advanced and the avionics are so next level, it's like flying is an afterthought. Make sure it can fly, right? It can get airborne?
Yeah, I can fly.
The F-47 is the core of the Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance Program, NGAD. Kind of sounds like NGAD or MegaChad. Maybe we should call this thing the MegaChad. But it's built to replace the F-22 Raptor and dominate any threats in the sky. Pentagon leaks have suggested that it's further along than what we thought, and prototypes are airborne. So as a refresher, on March 21st, 2025, top-level leaders at the Pentagon and the President unveiled the F-47, confirming Boeing's $20 billion contract to build the first crewed 6th-gen fighter. The name gives a nod to the World War II P-47 Thunderbolt and the Air Force's 1947 founding, as well as the 47th President approving this project. This jet is built for a future where air superiority is hard fought. It's built to be unmatched and adversaries won't even see it coming, in my opinion. Here's the bombshell. Air Force leaders confirmed the F-47X plane prototypes have been flying since 2020, logging hours in restricted airspace, likely at Edwards Air Force Base or Area 51, in a 2022 Planet Labs satellite.
Okay, hold on. There's something I want to talk about real quick. We've been hearing news reports about odd sounds from around the world. It started probably around 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from my understanding, I was doing a little research into Project Switchblade. And then, of course, I didn't know. I thought this was Aurora Blue, whatever other project that now the P-47 or F-47 was. If my calculations and my understanding is correct, when this aircraft is warming up, the engines are warming up, or when it passes its subsonic pass, it gives off a high-pitched, low-tone vibration. Just a little something out there for you guys to think about. Maybe it wasn't so out of this world as we thought it was.
Image that tailless wing aircraft at Area 15.
Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
It goes back to what we were talking about last night on the show. Whatever happens spiritually, physically around you, there is a reason for it. Everything has a reason. So if you hear something that's, oh, well, I don't know what that is, there's a reason behind it. And that could be what the reason is.
I totally agree with you. Also, I mean, if we can go back, I don't want to go too far off the subject, but it also could have very well just been what people are hearing are tunnel machines making these underground tunnels. Why are they doing that? I don't know. We'll discuss that on another show, but that could be the noise. It is possible. Maybe it's just the shelves rubbing against each other. We're going to talk about that in just a minute too. Let's finish this up and come right back.
Breakdown of the sizes. So it was showed to be 65 feet, 50 feet wide with curved wings and no visible tail. It matches F-47 renderings, but what is it doing there? We're going to dive into that. But first, let's put that size in perspective. At 65 feet long and 50 feet wide, the F-47 is bigger than its peers. The F-35A is 51.4 feet long, 35 feet wide, 13.6 feet shorter, 15 feet narrower. The F-22, 62.1 feet long, 45.5 feet wide, just 2.9 feet shorter and 5.5 feet narrower. The F-16 is 49.5 feet long and 32.8 feet wide, much smaller. Even the F-15E at 63.8 feet long and 42.8 feet wide is 1.2 feet shorter and 7.2 feet narrower. This larger footprint for the F-47 screams some things. It screams range, payload, and advanced systems, but it might trade some agility for stealth and endurance. But overall, I think this thing's got more power than your neighbor's garage after his midlife crisis. Let's see. There's a Corvette, there's a Harley Davidson, and a Speedboat. I'm sure he's not compensating for anything. But what else sets the F-47 apart? Let's talk range. So it's got an over 1,000 nautical mile combat radius that doubles the F-22's. That means it can strike deep and it can loiter. And its speed, likely Mach 2 plus. That's what we've seen on the Pentagon's graphics. And it's powered by adaptive cycle engines from the Next Generation Adaptive Propulsion Program. Its stealth is said to be cutting edge with low observable tech, surpassing that of the F-22 and F-35. It's got conformal sensors, embedded antennas, radar scattering skin, and scattering paint. So I think it's safe to say that this thing is very sneaky.
I fear you're underestimating it.
They help for combat aircraft, CCAs. Those are AI-driven drones that act as wingmen. The Air Force wants 1,000 CCAs, each with a 700-mile-plus radius. And it's said the F-47 could even fly autonomously by default, with pilots overriding manually, and that blends human skill with machine precision. So back to Evan in a second. I want to tell you about today's video partner. It's War Thunder.
I will leave it right there. So adding this new technology, man, looking at all this, some of the things I have to disagree with. He made the comment, I know he's a combat pilot, don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to deface any pilot. I don't think the F-22 is going to go anywhere anytime soon. It may be phasing out to 16 because it is one of our oldest fighters, but it's not going to outdate the F-22 by any means.
I mean, just because you have a new here's one in the refrigerator. Taco Bell's cheese. Just because you have a new generation of something doesn't mean you phase out or you get rid of the lower generation. I mean, you may go, like you said, F-16s may go away. But you still need to have enough of the, planes to support us. So it's not like they're going to have enough of the F-47s since it's still pretty much a prototype.
They won't even get rid of the F-16. If anything, they'll mothball it and keep it to the side in case it's needed. Now, that's insane. I'm not saying that's going to happen because it might be the oldest fighter, but it's also one of the most reliable fighters we've had. Ratio to its speed is top. That's why we've got the Super Viper now, which is the F-16D, I do believe. Now, the interesting part to all of this, too, is how they're talking about, how it's the speed may be like 2 point something, I think that's a bunch of malarkey. I think it's much faster than that, but they're not going to tell you. They're not going to talk about it. Maybe they don't know. But I do believe for it to be a Gen 6 fighter, it's going to go faster than Mach 3. It's got to go faster Mach 3. Because let's face the facts, there's a reason why the SR-71 was, put to sleep, if you will, even though we know SR-72 is actually up and flying. I don't know. We haven't even seen the SR-72 in public. We think we know. We haven't seen it. Who's to say that the SR-72 and the P-47 aren't the same? F-47 aren't the same aircraft? Don't know.
I know. Have they been seen the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Don't know yet. We'll find out one day, I guess.
So I've got another article here.
Oh, rock on. Let's do this.
Unless you want to go do the asteroid thing. So we have like 10 minutes left.
We can hit that real quick. So because we did bring it up. So we're going to talk about you talking about the earthquake. Yeah, I wanted to bring the earthquake thing up.
I mean, the one with the asteroid that's coming in, like people know.
Yeah. Let me see if I have got that loaded. Mention someplace. Yes. I may not have that loaded, Ryan.
Okay.
Banned on food. Oh, it would. That's the spheres. We'll talk about that another time. Yeah, no, go on, move on to yours, brother, because evidently I did not get that the meteor uploaded, the Oumuamua twice the size thing. Yeah, we can talk about that.
The one that's coming, like I've seen it for like it's gonna end up coming in like in November or something.
Yeah,
from what I hear. So this is actually a fun article. Musicians who claimed spine-chilling paranormal encounters.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and share the screen here real quick. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna skip the whole intro, but it's by Andrew Malinks. It's AMELINCKX.
You said
Emma Links.
Emma Links, yeah. That's the closest I would say it.
Yeah. It's on August 13th. So actually today, 2025. So you can't get more recent than that.
Nope.
First, Miley Cyrus had a supernatural story. Miley Cyrus, the daughter of country singer Billy Ray Cyrus, went from a child star to Grammy-winning pop diva, but neither awards nor stardom insulated her from very creepy experiences at a London apartment near the famous Harrods department store during a European tour in 2009. Cyrus and her now husband Liam Hemsworth and her family were renting the apartment that had once been an old bakery for use as a home base. They soon began experiencing sounds of terrifying incidences from windows and doors that opened up on their own to hot water faucets turning on to a ghostly presence. Before I felt this, I thought I had seen a little boy sitting on the sink watching me take a shower. So I felt really freaked out, she told Elle UK in 2013. Cyrus may have wanted to use a wrecking ball on the flat, but instead she and her family moved to the Soho Hotel. Cyrus was just one of several celebrities who have claimed to have experienced chilling paranormal activity. So that's Miley Cyrus. Kendrick Lamar, the hip hop icon mogul, said that he acclaimed hip hop artist Kendrick Lamar has a Pulitzer Prize and nearly 24 Grammys to his name, and he may have had a ghostly experience from another rap legend to thank in part for some of his success. Besides being inspired by Tupac Shakur, who died from gunshot wounds sustained in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in September.
That's perfect timing.
Yeah, I know, right? In September 1996, there may have been a supernatural element to Lamar's relationship to Tupac. In a 2011 interview on Homegrown Radio, Lamar recounted a strange experience he had one night while asleep. He said, a blur like a silhouette and heard. He said he saw a blur like a silhouette and heard the dead rapper's voice. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't let my music die. Lamar recalled the president telling him. Lamar later included part of a 1994 interview with Shakur in his song Mortal Man from the 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly. Lamar wasn't the only artist to supposedly experience a supernatural meeting with a legendary performer. And let's see here. Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton, known as Mr. Las Vegas, is a singer and actor who has been a staple in Sin City's entertainment for decades. He met Elvis on a set of Bonanza in the 1960s, and the two hit it off. Not long after Presley died in 1997, Newton began performing at the Hilton in Las Vegas, where Elvis had also had a residency. To honor his friend, Newton decided to perform a melody of Elvis' tune. But on the night Newton debuted his tribute, the singer said he had an extremely weird and unsettling experience. Just as his conductor began the melody, medley, the lights in the venue suddenly went out along with the sound system. Only a single spotlight remained trained on the singer. Newton looked up towards the closed-off balcony and saw someone there. It was kind of backlit, and realized the image I was looking at, it was Elvis standing in the balcony. Newton recounted in an episode of the TV program Celebrity Ghost Stories. There was no mistaking it. Newton believed his dead friend had come to let him know that he was at peace and happy with what he was seeing and hearing. So two more. Let's see, Adele's Haunted Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
In 2012, Grammy-winning pop star Adele was riding high with the chart-smashing success of her album 21, which included hits like Rolling in the Deep. But she was also being hounded by the paparazzi. She ended up renting an 85-acre estate in West Sussex, England for 2 years to get a little privacy. Perhaps she should have reconsidered renting Lock House, a century-old former convent, when she began hearing strange noises there at night. In an interview with Anderson Cooper for the CBS News show 60 Minutes, Adele admitted the seemingly haunted place creeped her out. This bit's all quite scary, really, she told Cooper as they walked down a long, dark hall. Adele ended up hiring an around-the-clock security guard, among other precautions. I'm not rattling around here on my own, she told a friend via Page Six. It gives me the creeps. She vacated the property a few months later. A previous owner who had the house for 20 years beginning in 1919 also had some unsettling experiences there and sold the property in 1939. Lockhouse came back to haunt Adele when its owner accused her of making the property unsellable because of her comments. So apparently people did not want to move into a house with a ghost. So this is one.
This is a good one.
Alice Cooper and Joe Perry's Poltergeist.
Yep.
It's right up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
Shock rocker Alice Cooper has been putting on blood-soaked and horror-tinged rock shows for more than 40 years. So its purported paranormal encounter is definitely on brand. In the early 1980s, Cooper and Aerosmith guitarists were working on songs for Joe Perry's 1984 film Monster Dog, and that would have been a fun session to be at.
Yeah.
An old house in Copake, New York, when weird things started happening. It was very paranormal, Cooper said in an interview with radio.com. You put something down and then go in the other room and come back and it wasn't there, and you'd go, huh. Both Cooper and Perry had just gotten out of rehab at the time and chalked it up to being newly sober. At dinner in the house that was owned by Cooper's manager, everyone began comparing stories and realized that they'd all had creepy experiences there. And we were hearing something in the basement that sounds like people moving furniture, Cooper recalled. They decided not to stay. So if you happen to experience something otherworldly, you'll be in good company with some of music's greatest performers.
You know,
So-
that's awesome. And he's had way more than encounters than just that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not even going to go to what we were dealing with. I can just, we're going to stop sharing. Now, somebody else that comes to mind, and she's really not she's an actress, but she's not a music idol or anything. But it's a positive encounter, was Catherine Dennings from Two Broke Girls.
Mm-hmm.
She had a positive experience where she felt that the spirit actually saved her life and her mother's life during a time when she was growing up. So I'm like, wow. So it's cool to hear these stars, these high-profile people speaking up and speaking out about their experiences and that they've had stuff.
Yeah, it's because you think about it. These people who are in the public eye, and everything they say is scrutinized. You know, if something like that didn't happen, or why would they put it out there as something they experienced when they know they could, be like, I guess, looked at the wrong way.
Yeah, and some of them are not at that point of going, oh well, I'm not famous anymore, I'm not noticeable. These are actually high profile, active individuals.
Yeah, I mean, only person that may have been is maybe Wayne Newton.
He was bigger to that older culture.
Yeah, and and then what happened to him happened so long ago, but it's an experience he had, and he felt like he needed to share it, and
sometimes you got to do what you got to do and get it off your chest. So, well, you guys, we truly appreciate you hanging with us this hour. Hopefully, you had your coffee and your tea, whatever it might have been. I think we're definitely going to keep you guys up to date. Hey, you're a little late there, Rob, but thank you. Hello. My brother's in the house.
What's up, Rob?
He's checking in from work. Oh, good boy. Well, we're going to keep you guys going. This show and time is going to change. I'm going to let y'all know. We just don't know when and how. But we're going to keep you updated. Ryan and I have talked about going to an evening time at some point with this show to get you guys more involved and give y'all time. However, I think it's going to depend on what my new work schedule is going to be like, how Ryan can pull it off. So keep a listen out, keep a watch out. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to modify what we're doing.
Yeah, we're evolving. So we will definitely keep you in touch and keep you up to date with what's going on.
Even if it's on the Travelers group page or on the RNN's main page, we'll keep you with that news going.
Yep. So until next time.
Until next time, be good, be powerful, be enlightened, and keep aware. But make yourself a little better each day.
Exactly. Have a good day, guys. Bye.